Did you know that Africa is the second largest continent, holding a population of approximately 1.5 billion people? But it is said in such a large number, we still seem to be lagging behind in nearly all the things that we do. But what could be the reason of all this? My audience, join me on this journey as I try to uncover some little things that could be the reasons of who we are today, of who we were yesterday, and of who we could be in the near future, of what our offsprings could be if we do not give ourselves the chance to unlearn and to learn some of the little things that could not make sense to you right now, but could be the reason of what our mindset is today. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to Let's Talk About Africa, to the Road Back Home channel, where we embrace Africa and where we share experiences and knowledge, right, about what we have come to know throughout our life journey, so that we can change the narrative for Africa, because I believe Africa is the future. And I believe we can only see this only when we embrace Africa to the fullest, only when we embrace that, yes, Africa is not perfect. Yes, Africa has many challenges and problems, but they are only going to be solved by you and me. And that's how we can only start to restructuring Africa to be the continent that we are all proud of, and that we can all work towards rebuilding. So this channel is all about relearning, learning, and unlearning some of the little things that we have known about Africa, so that we can re-embrace Africa through our journey and our life experiences. Without further ado, without delaying you further into this video, today I am going to talk about the things you must know before you start building in Zimbabwe, before you start your building series in Zimbabwe, right? So the first thing I have come to realize is you should know, after you've made the bold step of trying to do something back home, of trying to build something back home. It could be a house, it could be some projects, it could be some business, anything. These are like things which are you must know, right, for any of these projects that you want to venture into. So the first thing is you have to ask yourself, who is going to manage your projects, right? Oftentimes we make this mistake of being overexcited about starting an adventure, but at the end of the day, halfway into the projects, or when you have just taken the first move, then you start realizing, oh my God, this could be ruined because you didn't plan or you didn't think about a trustworthy person who is going to manage your projects. It could be your family member. It could be you finding someone who is professional, who can do the thing for you, like inspecting your projects and all that, like who is going to be in the forefront for you when you are not there, who is going to be your eye when you are not there, which is really, really important. Because to be honest, if you are in the diaspora and you run some projects and you tell yourself, I'm going to visit oftenly, to be honest, to some extent, it's kind of a lie, because there are many things that could come along the way which might hinder you from being there on the ground, right? So it's really important for you to know who is going to manage your projects. That's number one. Number two, who is going to be like the, what do you call this, who's going to be like the supervisor, which is more like managing and supervising. I kind of feel like it's a bit different to some extent, because you could find someone who can manage, but at the same time, like the manager is like seeing, is this in place, is this all in, like, is this going well? Then someone who supervises, I kind of feel like this could be someone who you really trust, who like has the overall eye in everything. So for example, what am I saying? I'm saying maybe someone who's going to manage your project could be like maybe your family member. But someone who could supervise your project could be someone who is professional, who only comes to the project once in a while to see the major developments so that they give you the feedback. I don't know if you're getting me. First, you have someone who is doing everything. And second, it's kind of like you're getting a second eye to give you back the information, right? So I hope you're understanding me, which I think it's really, really important. Then number 3, how are you going to send the money? Oftentimes you find you have a way of sending money back home. Maybe you're excited, it's the first time you send money, and you really don't think of the long term, like, is this method going to be sustainable forever? Is this method going to last me forever? Does this method exist till the end of my project? Is this method going to be able like to handle maybe large sums of money sending back? Or is this way going to be like an honest way of sending money? So for example, I wouldn't advise someone to send money through like Western Union, right, for projects. To be honest, this method is really expensive if you come to look at it. To some extent, the money you send, the money that you are charged could be really discouraging to some extent. So for people who are like back home, who are like abroad, like in the diaspora, and wish to send back money, there are cheap ways like GME, like GME, other world remit kind of stuff, right? So, excuse me, so this is really cheaper. Maybe you could be like as close as South Africa. I've seen people sending back home using like Mukuru, which is really affordable compared to other like Western Union, which is really super expensive. It could discourage you. And number 4, try to understand the work ethics in Zimbabwe. To be honest, sometimes you could be really frustrated, but when you take this bold step of wanting to do some projects back home, I think sit with yourself, sit with whoever who is also responsible of this maybe money, maybe like you're a couple or something, like really sit down and know that some things are really like out of your control, out of your, they are going to get on your nerves. For example, like inspection in Zimbabwe, it could take ages. It could take even like 4 weeks, which is like a month, or it could even take like 3 weeks, even those 2 weeks, right, for your building to be inspected, which could be really frustrating if you are abroad because you are used to things which work like in quick system. But at the same time, don't lose hope. Don't give up on motherland. Don't give up on Zimbabwe. But take heart and know that the person who is or whom you have put in charge of your project is doing the best that they can. That's why I said in the beginning, find someone who is trustworthy. Find someone who is also a second eye to that person whom you have also put in charge of your project, so that when they tell you that 1 week has gone by, the inspector is not yet inspected the building or anything like that, your heart and your mind are at peace, right? Then some work ethics could be even, people just want to be paid money so that they start doing work, which you have to be prepared for, right? Or there could be some intentional delays, right? So for me, I always have been able to work with this ethic that continue to look in the future. What's happening now doesn't matter, right? So even someone wants some little bit of money for the work to be done, just give them. But your eye should remain focused on the future goal, right? I think that's what can only motivate you in some of these conditions, working conditions. And the last one, you have a relationship with people who are running your projects. Sometimes you might not have the first hand like relationship with them or contact with them, but be the person who is interested over who is really doing your work, so that there are no scams, number one, because oftentimes we've relied on some people, even like putting the people I've mentioned in my first points to be in charge of like sourcing every single person who's going to work for you could be really dangerous. Try to set time for yourself to hunt for your builders. Try to look for people who are reputable, so that even when these other guys start working with them, they really don't have a close relationship. It's kind of like just a work relationship. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but there are really less chances of being scammed if people you are working with totally do not know one another, because at the same time they will compete to gain your trust. This one is also trying to maintain their work. This one is also trying to maintain that I have been put in charge of this, so I have to watch you, one of those. Rather than putting people who kind of like know each other, they are kind of like cooperations, which might even lead like to scams, to maybe even like increase of money where they should not be, or things like that. You have contacts of your builders, you have contacts of maybe the people whom you are sourcing from. Maybe it could be like your chicken feed or anything like that, so that when the worst comes to the worst, you will remain in contact with people who are doing your work. God forbid, maybe for example, you found someone to look for builders for you. Then at the end of the day, you find that maybe this person is not trustworthy. You want to remove this person from your work. At the same time, there are high chances that this person can also influence the builders. So that means you would have lost double at once. I don't know. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. So try to have a personal relationship with every single person who is doing work for you. I hope you found this helpful. Over some of the things that you have to be mindful of if you're in the diaspora trying to build back home. It could be building a home, your retirement home. It could be building your projects. It could be building your maybe rental apartments or anything like that, right? So I believe everything to this whole thing, the first thing is all about trust. If you fail to find someone whom you can trust, then you're going to continue delaying and saying, I will do this when I'm on the ground. And sometimes you might find that the day for you to be on the ground shall forever take time. Therefore, you will forever postpone your moving back to Africa, which is why we are here promoting for us to go back home and build our continent. It's only us who can do it. No one else can do it for us. I hope you found this useful, guys. Once again, thank you so much for tuning up till this end, and it would be really good for you to like the video, to comment, so that we can have an interaction, to also subscribe, right, to the channel if you found this information useful. I upload these kind of information here and there, right? So you don't want to miss the next tip or the next advice. Thank you so much for tuning up. Till we meet again. Bye.